But hold on, it's not just any video. It's an amateur padel match with Danish commentators.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Padel? Danish commentators? What? But trust me on this one. There's actually a lot more to unpack here than you might initially think.
Yeah, it's not just about the padel, although the match itself is pretty entertaining. It's more about, I don't know, the whole experience of watching this live stream. The commentators, the international viewers calling in, the unexpected twists and turns. It's a bit of a wild ride.
The video is called, let me see if I can get this right. Padel Amateurkamp Danske Kommentator SUSKLYD Live Stream Humor International Upcalled. Yeah, quite a mouthful. And it's from a YouTube channel called Padel Kanalen. I mean, the title pretty much sums it up, right? Amateur Padel, Danish commentators, sound on, live stream, humor, international calls.
Yeah, they definitely weren't shy about packing it all in there. But that's kind of what makes this so interesting. And of course, we've got to introduce our commentators, right?
Yes.
The stars of the show.
Oh, absolutely. So we've got Søren Selvmål Sørensen, a former footballer, and Rolf Regatta Rasmussen, who's got experience in podcasting and, get this, rowing.
Selvmål, that's Danish for own goal, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So I think we can safely assume Søren's got some, let's say, interesting stories from his footballing days. And then you've got Rolf Regatta bringing his expertise from, well, I guess rowing kind of makes sense with the whole teamwork aspect, but the podcasting part, that's what I'm curious about.
Their dynamic is really a huge part of what makes this so engaging. Like right from the start, you can tell they're just having a good time with it, bouncing off each other, cracking jokes.
It's that kind of, that genuine camaraderie, that really comes through and makes you feel like you're right there with them, like you're part of the inside joke or something.
Okay, so setting the scene. We're at Padel East in Frederikssund, Denmark. And the match is between Yusuf and Jesper versus Tu and Tobias. Now, right off the bat, one of the first things the commentators mention is that there are 4 different paddle bats in play.
4 different bats. Just think about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, right? Does everyone have their own preferred brand? Or maybe some of them are just borrowing bats.
It's a little detail, sure, but it kind of hints at the range of experience and equipment we might be seeing in this amateur match.
So what we're going to try to do in this deep dive is pull out some of the key moments, the unexpected surprises, and the little insights that make this more than just watching a game, We'll try to give you the real flavor of this live stream. And believe me, with the international callers and some of the, shall we say, unexpected interruptions, there's a lot of flavor to go around.
It's like a Padel-flavored smoothie with a dash of, I don't know, maybe a little sprinkle of absurdity on top.
A dash of absurdity. I like it. Okay, so let's dive in, shall we? And remember, this is a live stream, so buckle up.
Oh, yeah. Things are about to get interesting.
One of the first things you notice is Søren's humor. And he wastes no time in bringing his unique footballing history into the commentary, with the whole Selvmål nickname and all.
Yeah, right away he starts relating his past football mishaps to the importance of avoiding errors in padel. Like he's basically saying, hey, I know a thing or two about making mistakes, so watch out for those unforced errors.
It's pretty brilliant, actually. He's taking something potentially embarrassing and turning it into this relatable, self-deprecating humor that instantly connects with viewers.
It's like, it disarms you, It makes you feel like, hey, this guy's not taking himself too seriously, so maybe I can relax and enjoy the ride.
And Rolf's right there with him, too. He's got this really quick wit coming back with these funny little remarks to Søren's stories. They're like a comedy duo or something.
They've definitely got that back and forth banter down pat. And it's not just about the jokes either. They're constantly encouraging viewers to get involved, like write us your comments, call in, like the video, subscribe to the channel.
They're really working hard to build a sense of community around this live stream. It works. You actually feel like you're part of the experience.
Yeah, like you're hanging out with your buddies, watching the match, and just having a laugh.
Okay, so enough about the commentators. Let's talk about the match itself. The game gets going, and it's Tu serving the first ball.
Big moment, right? First serve of the match. Sets the tone.
And, well, things don't go quite as planned for Yusuf and Jesper. Jesper hits the return straight into the net. Ouch.
Not the start they were hoping for. And of course, Søren, true to his nickname, immediately jumps in with a classic Selvmål anecdote. He's really good at finding those relatable moments, like we've all been there. That feeling of frustration when you make a silly mistake, whether it's in sports, at work, or just in everyday life.
Yeah, that feeling where you just want to hit rewind and try again.
Exactly. But Rolf's reaction is really interesting here. Instead of focusing on the negative, he's all about hope. He's like, come on, guys, you can bounce back from this. I believe in you.
It shows that they're not just commentators, they're also, like, invested in the match. They want to see a good game.
Yeah, and Søren follows up with a really positive thought, saying that Padel, just like life, is about having the resilience to come back stronger after setbacks. It's actually a really nice little pep talk, and it goes beyond just the sport itself.
And it's not all just about hitting the ball either. There's some strategy involved. Early on, Søren points out how Tu and Tobias are positioning themselves on the court. He even talks about the idea that a strong defense can actually be the best offense.
Yeah, that's a classic tactic, right? Preventing your opponent from scoring can actually create opportunities for you to attack. It's something you see in a lot of competitive situations, not just sports.
Think about it, like in business or even in relationships. Sometimes playing defense, holding back and being strategic, can be more effective than just going all-out attack.
Definitely. Okay, but then things take a bit of an unexpected turn. We get our first international call of the match, and it's from Antonio Dominic Lorenzo, all the way from Piacenza, Italy.
Italy. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? This little amateur padel match in Denmark is reaching people all over the world.
The power of the internet right there. And Antonio's question is pretty straightforward. He wants to know who the commentators think will win the match.
And they're clearly thrilled to have this international audience. I mean, who wouldn't be?
They seem genuinely surprised and really appreciative. They even give Antonio their prediction, leaning slightly towards Yusuf and Jesper. So now there's a bit of suspense for all the viewers, Who's going to come out on top?
Yeah, the stakes just got a little higher. But back to the match. The game continues, and Tobias hits this really difficult shot that Jesper just can't return. Tu and Tobias take an early lead, 1-0.
Every point matters, especially in a close match like this.
And of course, this prompts another one of Søren's classic anecdotes. This time it's about how he almost got a football contract abroad. He was so close.
The dream, right? Playing professional football in another country.
But then, well, a video surfaced. A video of his 4 own goals. Needless to say, the recruiters changed their minds.
Oh no, talk about bad timing. But you gotta hand it to him. He tells the story with such good humor. He's not afraid to poke fun at himself.
It's that kind of self-awareness that makes him so likable and relatable. Okay, so the struggles continue for Yusuf and Jesper. Jesper hits his serve into the net. Not good.
Those unforced errors can really kill your momentum.
Exactly. And the commentators are starting to get a little concerned. They're emphasizing the need for Yusuf and Jesper to regroup and get their heads back in the game.
They need to find a way to break this negative cycle, before it's too late.
Søren even mentions that he thinks he's spotted a potential strategy that Yusuf and Jesper might be trying.
Right.
But he doesn't really explain what it is, which I gotta say is kind of frustrating.
It's like he's dangling this little piece of information in front of you, but not giving you the full picture.
I'm like, come on, sir, give us the goods. But whatever that strategy is, it doesn't seem to be working just yet. Tu makes this amazing shot, and then Yusuf hits the ball into the net. It's now 2-0 to Tu and Tobias.
Things are not looking good for Yusuf and Jesper, but hey, it's Padel. Anything can happen.
Yeah, they just need a little spark to ignite their comeback. And that's when Rolf steps in with a story of his own.
Story time with Rolf. I love it. What's he got for us this time?
He talks about this time when he tried to organize a rowing competition against the local Vikings in Frederikssund.
Wait, hold on. Vikings? Like actual Vikings?
Well, not actual Vikings, obviously, but, locals who embrace that whole Viking heritage.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. But rowing against Vikings, that sounds intense.
It was. And Rolf quickly learned a valuable lesson about, respecting their traditions and their strength.
Don't mess with the Vikings. I guess that's the takeaway there. But how does this relate to the paddle match?
Well, Rolf suggests that maybe Yusuf and Jesper need to tap into some of that same Viking spirit to mount a comeback.
Interesting. So it's not just about physical strength. It's also about, mental toughness, that resilience to face challenges head on.
And it's a reminder that surprises can happen, even when things seem bleak.
Yeah, I mean, look at the score. 2-0 down. It's not looking good. But maybe, just maybe, they can channel their inner Vikings and turn things around.
We can only hope. But unfortunately, the next point doesn't go their way. Tobias hits this easy shot towards Yusuf. And, well, you can guess what happens next.
Another unforced error. Say it ain't so.
Yep. Straight into the net. The score is now 3-0. And the commentators were starting to sound a little, resigned.
Like they're starting to accept that it might not be Yusuf and Jesper's day.
They're even saying things like, it's just not happening for them today, and it's an uphill battle from here.
But they're not giving up hope entirely. They're still pointing out the positive moments, you know? Like when Yusuf manages to hit a good shot or Jesper makes a nice save.
They're trying to keep the energy up for themselves and for the viewers, which is admirable considering the scoreline.
It's now 5-0 to 2 into Tobias. That's a pretty significant lead. Do you think Yusuf and Jesper can still come back from this?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. But, hey, stranger things have happened, Raid.
That's the spirit. Never say never. And the commentators seem to agree. They're talking about how Padel can be a really unpredictable sport, you know? Like 1 minute you're down and out, and the next minute you're back in the game.
They even use the word miracle. So they're not ruling anything out just yet. And then, just when you think things can't get any more surprising, we get another international call. This time it's from Divyansh Fayaz Iqbal in India, and he's watching with 150 friends.
150? That's like a whole Padel party. This amateur match is going global.
I know. It's incredible. And Divyansh has got some great questions. He wants to know if there are Bollywood-style victory dances in Padel.
That's a good question. I mean, why not? It would definitely add some spice to the celebrations.
He also asks us about the reasons for the players' mistakes and why the Padel court is blue.
He's really thought this through, hasn't he? He's not just watching, he's engaging with the whole experience.
And the commentators love it. They're so enthusiastic about answering his questions.
What do they say about the Bollywood dances?
Well, they explain that it's not really a standard part of Padel culture. But they also say that, hey, there's always a first time. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some Bollywood moves on the Padel court in the future.
I'm kind of hoping we do. That would be awesome. And what about the mistakes? Why are the players making so many errors?
The commentators attribute it to the fact that the players are relatively inexperienced. They've only been playing for about 1 year and 5 months, so they're still learning, still developing their skills.
That makes sense. And the blue court, why blue?
They say it's all about visibility, both for the players on the court and for the viewers watching at home. The blue color makes the ball and the players stand out more clearly.
It's like they've thought of everything, haven't they? The blue court, the international callers, the Viking spirit. This live stream has it all.
And we're not done yet. Just when you think you've heard it all, they receive a call from a woman named Lone Madsen, and she wants to order a pizza.
Wait, what? A pizza? During the match?
Yep. She calls in and starts describing her order. Gluten-free base, vegetarian toppings, the whole works.
That's incredible. I mean, talk about unexpected interruptions. What do the commentators do?
Well, they're clearly a little confused, but they handle it really well. They politely explain to Lone that this isn't actually a pizzeria, and then they try to steer the conversation back to the match.
Smooth save. I wonder if she ever got her pizza. Okay, back to the Padel.
The score is still 5-0, but finally there's a glimmer of hope for Yusuf and Jesper. Yusuf manages to win a point.
About time. They needed that.
The commentators are so excited. They're like, this is what they needed. This is the spark that could ignite their comeback.
1 point can change everything. It can shift the momentum, give a team that much-needed boost of confidence.
And then Søren, well, he does what Søren does best. He tells another story.
Another anecdote from his illustrious career.
This time, it's about an unorthodox football dribbling attempt he once made. An attempt that ultimately led to his downfall.
Classic Søren. Always willing to share his mishaps for the entertainment of others.
But there's actually a deeper message here. He's basically saying that sometimes it's better to stick to the fundamentals. You know, don't try to be too fancy.
Keep it simple. Master the basics. Solid advice, whether you're playing Padel or, well, doing anything in life, really.
Then we have this slightly bizarre moment where Jesper hits a lob shot that Tobias returns, but then Yusuf hits the ball in a way that it goes off the top of the fence behind them.
Wait, isn't that illegal in Padel?
It is. And the commentators quickly explain the rule. Apparently the ball can't go off the back wall and then over the fence.
So it's a point for 2 in Tobias?
Nope. It's actually a point for Yusuf and Jesper, because Tobias hit the ball first.
Oh, I see. So even though Yusuf hit the illegal shot, it was Tobias's shot that set it up.
Exactly. And despite this little setback, the momentum is definitely shifting. Yusuf's serve results in another point for their team, bringing the score to 2-5.
They're chipping away at that lead, slowly but surely.
The commentators are really starting to emphasize how important each point is now. Like how one single point can completely change the dynamic of the match.
It's all about psychology at this point, It's about who can handle the pressure better.
And then Søren, well, he just can't resist making another joke. He says that a bad shot on the paddle court stinks just as much as Rolf's prutter, which, for those who don't speak Danish, is the polite way of saying farts.
Oh, Søren, he just can't help himself.
And of course, Rolf reacts in exactly the way you'd expect, with a mix of amusement and mock outrage.
It's like there are a couple of kids in a playground, just having fun and not taking anything too seriously.
But then, just as the laughter subsides, something amazing happens. 2 hits the ball into the net, and the score is now 3-5.
They're only 2 points behind. Could this be the start of an epic comeback?
The tension is palpable. And then we get another international call. This time it's a whispered prediction from João Manuel Silva in Brazil.
A whispered prediction. Why is he whispering?
Because his family is supporting the other team. He's afraid they'll hear him if he speaks too loudly.
That's hilarious and kind of sweet. It's like he's torn between his loyalty to his family and his own prediction for the match.
And the commentators are totally understanding. They acknowledge his call and interpret his whispered prediction as a sign that he sees it as a good, closely contested match.
Even though they can't understand Portuguese, they get the gist of it, the universal language of sport, right?
Exactly. Okay, hold on tight because things are about to get really intense. We see this incredible rally with both teams hitting some amazing shots. Smashes, volleys, lobs, it's all happening.
It sounds like a highlight reel moment right there.
And then, just as suddenly as it started, it's over. 2 hits a net shot that lands on his own side of the court, and the score is now 4-5.
They're just 1 point away from leveling the score.
The commentators are practically screaming at this point. They're so hyped up.
I can just imagine the energy in that room.
Yeah.
It must be electric.
And then, another international call comes in. This time, it's from Sumugi Takahashi in Japan. And she's got some exciting news.
What's that? Another pizza order.
Nope. Even better. She's opened a new restaurant. A restaurant that features both sushi and padel on TV.
Sushi and padel? That's a combination I never would have thought of.
I know, right? But it kind of makes sense. Sushi is all about precision and artistry, and padel is, well, pretty much the same thing.
It's a match made in culinary heaven.
Something like that. And get this. Sumugi has even created a special Viking sushi roll in honor of the commentators.
They're becoming international celebrities. I bet they never thought their little live stream would reach this far.
They're clearly loving it, even though they don't seem to understand a word of Japanese.
It's the thought that counts, right?
Exactly. Okay, so we're back to the match, and the tension is at an all-time high. The score is 4-5, and Yusuf and Jesper are just 1 point away from equalizing.
This is it, the moment of truth.
And then another international call comes in. This time it's from Joaquin Juan Rodriguez de Leon in Spain.
Spain. That's like the heartland of padel, right?
Exactly. And Joaquin is clearly passionate about the sport. He delivers this incredible analogy comparing the back and forth of the match to a flamenco dance.
Flamenco dance. That's actually a really beautiful way to describe it. The passion, the intensity, the rhythm, it all fits.
The commentators are blown away by his analogy. They're like, yes, that's exactly what it's like. These guys are like dancers out there.
I can just picture it in my head. The players moving with such grace and power, like they're performing a choreographed routine.
But unfortunately for Yusuf and Jesper, the dance is about to end. Jesper hits a shot into the net. And just like that, 2 and Tobias are back in the lead, 6-5.
Oh, no. So close, yet so far.
The commentators are devastated. But they still manage to find a moment of humor. They called 2 and Tobias modern Vikings, celebrating their victory with the same kind of energy and enthusiasm as those ancient warriors.
They're not giving up on the entertainment value, even though their hearts are breaking. True professionals.
And of course, they take this opportunity to remind everyone to subscribe to the channel, just in case anyone forgot.
Smart move. Strike while the iron's hot. And then, just when you think things can't get any weirder, we get 2 truly bizarre phone calls.
The first one is from Odeli in Norway, and she's calling to ask if anyone has seen her socks.
Her socks? Seriously?
Seriously. Apparently she's lost them somewhere, and she's hoping someone watching the live stream might have spotted them.
Maybe they blew away in the wind. Or maybe a rogue paddle ball knocked them off the washing line.
Who knows? But the commentators are clearly baffled. They're like, no, we haven't seen your socks, but good luck finding them.
I bet they never thought they'd be fielding calls about missing socks during a paddle match commentary.
And then, just when you think it can't get any more surreal, we get a call from Jack Baker in Australia, and he claims he wants to sponsor the team for 10 million euros a year.
10 million euros for an amateur Padel team. Is this guy for real?
Søren's immediately skeptical. He starts asking Jack all sorts of questions like, who are you? What company do you represent? And how did you even get our number?
He's not falling for it. He's like, this is too good to be true.
And then suddenly the line goes dead. Lost connection, the commentators announce.
I think we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
Jack Baker, the mysterious Australian millionaire, vanished into thin air.
Just another day in the world of live streaming, right?
Absolutely. You never know what's going to happen next. Okay, so we're in the final stages of the match. The score is 6-5 to 2 and Tobias, but Yusuf and Jesper are fighting hard to level the score.
This is it, the climax, the grand finale.
Hold your breath, folks.
And then the lights go out.
The lights, like a power outage.
Yep, the entire Padel facility is plunged into darkness.
Are you kidding me? At the most crucial moment of the match? Talk about bad timing.
The commentators are just as shocked as everyone else. They're like, what just happened? Is this a joke?
It's like something out of a movie or a nightmare.
And then, after a few moments of stunned silence, they announce the news. Due to the unexpected power outage, the match is over. Tu and Tobias are declared the winners, with a final score of 6-5.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, what a way to end the match.
I know, right? You couldn't have scripted it any better, or worse, depending on your perspective.
It's like the universe itself decided to intervene and give Tu and Tobias the win.
Or maybe it was just a faulty circuit breaker. We'll never know. But one thing's for sure. This was a match that no one will ever forget.
So let's try to unpack all of this for our listeners. What were the key takeaways from this roller coaster of a deep dive?
Well, first of all, we witnessed an amateur padel match that was anything but ordinary. It was packed with twists and turns, unexpected interruptions, and some truly hilarious commentary.
It was like a mix of sports comedy and a dash of the Twilight Zone.
And secondly, we saw how even a niche online event like this can reach a global audience. We had callers from Italy, India, Brazil, Japan, Spain, Norway, and Australia.
The power of the internet, right. Connecting people from all over the world through a shared love of, Padel, and maybe also slightly bizarre live streams.
And don't forget about those memorable little details like the pizza order and the missing socks.
Oh, yeah, those were classic. They really added to the unique flavor of the experience.
And finally, I think this deep dive gave us all a fascinating glimpse into the subculture of amateur sports streaming. It's a world where anything can happen, and often does.
Where unexpected interruptions are not just tolerated, they're celebrated.
And where the commentators are as much a part of the entertainment as the athletes themselves.
So here's a final thought for you, dear listener, to ponder. Could these seemingly random and often chaotic interruptions actually be part of the charm of live sports, even at the amateur level?
Think about it. Would this match have been as memorable without the pizza order, the missing socks, and the sudden power outage?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe those unexpected moments are what make live sports so unpredictable and ultimately so engaging.
Maybe life itself is a bit like that, full of surprises and unexpected twists and turns.
And maybe that's not a bad thing.
Maybe it's what makes life interesting.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been, it's been an experience.
It certainly has.